Hi friends, I'm Sherry and this is Gardening in the North, and today is my absolute favorite video. So every summer I like to do a tomato tasting video where I take one tomato from every variety that I'm growing and I cut it open and taste it for you and tell you my real thoughts on it. So today we're going to start with Mortgage Lifter. Now, last year when I did this, I ended up tasting two of the Mortgage Lifters, thinking that it was Dr. Witchy's, but I had mixed up the tags. This year, I know that this is Mortgage Lifter, so let's give it a go. I'm just going to show you what it looks like inside. So this tomato, in my opinion, is not strong tasting. It has more of a mild tomato flavor. So for those of you that are still on the line for, do I like tomatoes or don't I? Or maybe you just want to try something new that isn't really acidy, then I think this might be the one for you. Let's grab another. The next tomato that I'm going to try for you has been a long time favorite in my garden, and that is yellow pear. So I probably grew this for the first 4 years that I had a garden, and it was so prolific. I loved it. Everything about this tomato I loved. And then a couple years later, or a couple years ago, this started happening. And so what would happen is they would start to split. Now, I don't know why all of a sudden they started doing that, but I'm gonna say 50% of my tomatoes split. And I pick them before the rain falls, they still split. So I have been on the hunt for a new yellow cherry tomato. If you know one that is very prolific and doesn't split like this, leave it in the comments below. So we're going to try this one. Now, one of the reasons that I really like this tomato is, besides the fact that it was really prolific for me, is the fact that it's yellow, and when you combine it with another colored tomato in your salad, or you do sun-dried tomatoes with this one, they just look so pretty. I'll just show you the inside of it. So like any yellow tomato, it is very mild, except that this one has a little bit of sweetness to it. So when I compare it to Mortgage Lifter, I actually like the taste of this one better, except that you can't make a sandwich out of these little cherry ones. So let's grab another. The next one that I'm going to try is Blush Tiger. So this might be my third year trying these, and I so far am happy with them. I'm going to show you the colors of this. Like, look at how pretty that is. So I think that next year I might grow this one instead of the yellow pear. I just need to pick the ones that are going to be prolific and not damaged the way that one is. So let's give this one a try. Okay, so this one is really pretty inside as well. Again, this one is really good in a salad. So the skin of this one is chewier than the first two. It's not chewier, it's thicker than the first two. It has a very mild tomato taste. It's not sweet like the yellow pear, but it's very tasty. Let's grab another. The next tomato I want to share with you is black strawberry. Now this one is new to me this year. I've never grown this before. And what drew me to this tomato was the coloring of it. Very pretty. So let's take a look. And I will say that these ones have not been splitting on me. Oh, it is pretty meaty inside considering it is a cherry tomato. It is a stronger taste. The skin is not as thick as the blush tiger. It is almost a hint of sour to it. Very unique tasting. The plant is growing amazing. So I have one of those plants in a 5-gallon bucket, and I have another one on one of my trellises, and both of them are growing amazing. So I'll probably grow this one again next year. The next tomato I want to show you or taste for you is banana legs. Now, I originally started growing this one a couple years ago solely because it's called banana legs, and I thought that that was so funny. However, it is not my favorite looking tomato, so it's very prolific. I find that the plants usually do really well. However, the tomatoes don't do well if you aren't quick at picking them off the vine. So I just want to show you the brown. Now this tomato is not rotten or anything like that, but it has these brown lines on it. So let's take a look. I'm going to cut it down the middle. So this tomato here is very meaty. You could use this one to make sauces. You could use it to make a barbecue sauce, something like that, because it is so meaty. I don't think I'm going to grow this one again next year. It just has a very mild, mellow, yellow tomato taste. So I think because there are so many better tomatoes out there, I probably won't grow this one again, even though I know I have so many seeds in my seed collection. The next one is Blue Beauty. Now, interestingly enough, it is the bigger version of the black strawberry cherry tomato. Looks very similar to it. You can see that it has that nice dark color on the top and then the nice red color on the bottom. So let's just see here. Oh, this is a very meaty tomato. So if you're looking for a tomato that you want to use for, again, for sauces, or you just prefer having a meatier tomato that doesn't have all of the flesh and seeds inside, then this would be a good tomato for you. So let's see. I'm really surprised. I like it. I'm really surprised though that for a red tomato, it doesn't have a stronger taste. It's not sweet. It's not bitter. The skin is fairly thin, so you don't feel like you're having to like chew through the thickness of the skin, which the more tomatoes I'm trying, I feel like the blush tiger is more like that. This is really good. I really like it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 7th tomato today that I'm going to try for you is Buratto. And this is a new tomato to me, first time growing it. I actually picked it because of the shape. I thought that it was pretty cool looking. And for those of you that have been following along with me in this gardening journey, you know that I prefer the salad tomatoes, the sauce tomatoes, the cherry tomatoes. I like a slicer as well, but I prefer the smaller tomatoes because sometimes it's only me that's eating them, so it's easy to cut this up and eat it by myself. So let's give this one a try. I really like the orange color. Oh my gosh, look at the inside of it. There is hardly any seeds in there. Oh, I really like that. Let me see here. This may be my favorite tomato so far. It is the perfect amount of acid for a tomato. The skin is medium for thickness. It's probably very similar to the Blue Beauty one. I love that it is so meaty like that. You literally could make a tomato sandwich out of this if you sliced it and layered it on an English muffin. I really like this one. So the next tomato that I want to share with you is the Juliet. I've been growing the Juliet for years. This is my favorite tomato. It's my favorite tomato because I like to slice it this way so you get rings and you can put it in your salad. You can make your sun-dried tomatoes out of it. It is the most prolific that I have grown. Most prolific. Every plant that I have in my garden right now for Juliet has a ton of tomatoes on them. And these tomatoes will usually be one of the first to ripen, and they are usually the longest lasting tomato plant in my garden, which is the other reason why I love them. So let's give this one a taste test. Just show you what the inside looks like. So medium for maybe just a tad more than medium for the skin thickness, still thinner than the Blush Tiger. It has a meaty tomato taste to it with a hint of sweetness to it. So good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 9th tomato is the chocolate pear. Now, I mentioned to you that the yellow pear was always so prolific and they didn't split. No matter how big they got, they didn't split. And then for the past few years, they have been. I wanted to try the chocolate pear. 1, to see what it tastes like. And 2, to see if this was a tomato that would split. And so far, these tomatoes are not splitting. So let's see if the taste is worth the cool name that it has. Okay, there's not a lot of seeds in it. Not a lot of seeds, but when you chew it, you get a pop of juice into your mouth, and there is a touch, a teeny little bit of sour to it, but just enough that I want to eat the other half of it. So the 10th tomato is Golden Queen. This one is also new to me, And I thought that it was the perfect size for a salad tomato, as well as if you were making a small tomato sandwich, this would work. So I'm just going to show you how pretty it looks. Okay, this is very meaty as well. It's good, but it's not better than any of the other ones. I like it. I think that adding this one, maybe with the Blue Beauty on a tomato sandwich, would be delicious. However, if you only have a certain amount of space in your garden and you're looking for an orange tomato, I would stick with the Buratto instead of the Golden Queen. If you have enough space for both, then awesome. So the 11th tomato is Dark Galaxy, and I just really liked the coloring on it and thought that it would be kind of cool maybe on the inside. I think I grew this last year, and I don't remember if the plant didn't make it or what has happened, but the plants here seem to have a lot of tomatoes on them. I'm noticing, so this garden here at the new property is all new. And when you grow in a brand new garden, new soil, compost, everything, there are things that you're going to encounter that you didn't encounter in your previous gardens where you built up that soil. And so one of the things I'm noticing is some of the bottoms of these tomatoes are not looking great. I think if I like the taste of it, I'll try it again next year, only because the soil may not be the best right now, and I really do have to build it up. So let's give this one a try. So I thought that it might have a little bit more of that dark color on the inside. So I'm not going to say I'm a little disappointed, but maybe a little bit. Oh, that is a real tomato taste. Oh, I really like it. I'll definitely try these again next year. I really like the size of them, and the plants have lots of tomatoes on them. I'm just worried that the bottom, like I said, doesn't look great, but it hasn't affected the inside, so I could just cut that off and it would be fine. So the next tomato is a Roma, and for all of you sauce makers out there, this would be the tomato that you would use. Although I'm going to keep pushing the Buratto to try that if you're looking for a lighter sauce or you want to mix the two. Having said that, the Roma tomato is very versatile. You don't only have to grow it for sauces. You can grow this to use for sun-dried tomatoes. You can use this in your sandwiches. You can saute it. It's so yummy. This has a very thick skin. It's almost crunch-like. It's probably the thickest skinned tomato that I have tried here. So I think that, again, if you are short on garden space and you are looking to grow tomatoes for sauce, this is the perfect one. If you're looking for tomatoes to grow for tomato sandwiches or using them other ways that you're going to eat them raw, then I would suggest not growing this one, because there are so many more out there that are a little bit tastier and they don't have that chewy skin to it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So the 13th tomato is Solar Flare. And again, take a look at the bottom of it. And this was probably one of the best ones that I had. I wanted to grow this because of the cool look of it. Look at those colors. So let's give it a try. I'm really hoping that I can taste it. I'm hoping that this one is worse than that one. They were in the same bed. So let's just see. It's a little bit on the bottom, but I'm going to try a piece of it anyways. I think that the rest of it might be okay. It's juicier than some of the other ones. I think because it's got more seeds than some of the other ones. Oh, I like how juicy it is when you eat it. You're not just getting a mouthful of meaty tomato. It's a juicy tomato with a really nice taste. It has, I can feel in my throat a little bit of acid, but the taste that it leaves on your tongue is really nice. So I will definitely try growing this one again next year, hoping that I can get more of them that aren't damaged. So the next one, number 14, is Dr. Witchy's Yellow. Now, again, I mentioned earlier in this video that I had tried Mortgage Lifter and called it Dr. Witchy's. This one is truly Dr. Witchy's Yellow. And so last year I didn't get any of these. I didn't get to try them. Let's try it this year. So this is what it looks like inside. Oh my gosh. It's probably my second favorite tomato on this tray. Maybe it's tied with Juliet because I think the Buratto is my favorite. It is sweet and juicy. The skin is not tough or chewy. It is really yummy. The 15th tomato is the chocolate cherry, and it has been one of my favorites in the garden. I just love the taste of it. I will say that the chocolate cherry was the second tomato type in my garden to ripen this year. The Paul Robson was the first, if you can believe that or not. Paul Robson is a slicer tomato, and it was the very first one to ripen. There aren't any ripe ones on the plants today for me to try for you. I'm actually really curious to try that tomato again because last year I thought that it was very earthy and I wasn't sure that I wanted to try it again. My dad took the only ripe one I had a couple weeks ago, and so I don't have any more right now. But let's try the chocolate cherry. Like I said, second one to ripen in the garden. It has such a nice sweet but acidy flavor. Pops in your mouth like just a pop of flavor that you get when you try it. I really wanted to show you or taste for you the striped Roman tomato. It is shaped very similar to a Roma and a Buratto, but it has really cool coloring on it. However, the only one that's ripe right now, something's been eating it, having their dinner, so I'm not going to try this one. So I'm going to end our taste testing on my orange hat tomato. This is a tiny little micro tomato plant that I have growing. I think I have maybe 8 of them, and they are so prolific. I have these in containers and they are just thriving. So I thought that I would bring that over just to let you know what this one tastes like. I'll cut it in half. I was just going to pop it in my mouth, but I'll cut it in half to show you. It's not as juicy as the chocolate tomato or chocolate cherry. It's a little bit more, it's really weird. It's a little bit more acidy than the chocolate cherry. So if you were to have a salad and mix the two of them, the color and the taste would just be phenomenal. So hopefully you're going to try some of these tomato varieties. I'm excited for the rest of my tomatoes to start ripening. I have some really big slicers that are just taking their time. Thanks so much for spending your time with